So no, it is not the government that's going to give us the out of this. It's going to be entrepreneurs, innovators, those who truly are in the game for the right reasons. That is, make sure our kids are number one, and not the institutions, not the professors, not those around just kind of sucking in everything they can from government payouts.
Ilhan Omar goes in one direction with this argument, and then the Super Bowl champion brings it back into real-world territory fast.
In the one big beautiful bill will somehow make college cheaper for working families. This is the same bill that cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid and over $180 billion from SNAP. The logic is hard to follow. By leaving millions without health care and struggling to buy groceries, higher education will apparently just become more accessible. It is no wonder that when the American people finally had the chance to see what was in this hideous bill, it was so unpopular that my Republican counterparts had to rebrand the name. But just because you put working families in the title doesn't mean you are not screwing them over. The reality is there is no amount of sugarcoating that can undo the damage that will be done by this disastrous legislation.
But your comments about how bad things are, explosion of tuition, enrollment in which kids come in, they enroll, they quit, they leave with debt they'll never pay off, with job skills they'll never have, and not be able to really build the American dream. But this isn't from the last 6 months of the family working tax plan. It's from the last 16 years, when in 2010, President Obama, through the Affordable Care Act, took everything from the private sector and put it into the government. So government has controlled this for the last 16 years. We cannot look at the last 6 months and say because our reforms, all these things are happening. We're now about to take care of that. I think the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is how little we know in our country about capitalism. We are the #1 destination in the world because of something called capitalism. Now, just quickly, what does capitalism mean, and what does it mean to this industry here?
Let's go, guys.
It's about return on investment. It's competition, it's merit, it's value, and the product of all that is profit. Now, if it's a good program, there's a lot of profit, which it should be. It should spread throughout the entire country. People should be wanting to take advantage of it. If it's a terrible product, it should go broke. What we're finding out is that the government is insulated from this concept. They can have a terrible competition, no value, no merit, and still make a lot of profit off the customer, the students, who pay their life's blood for the rest of their life trying to pay off loans. So we need to get back to teaching that. I think that when I listen to my friends here from Utah and Florida, I'll say this about Utah. We lead the country in terms of small business startups. There's an entrepreneurial concept. There's a culture in which we're trying to figure out how to give the best return on investment to where we're dealing with. And I think the same thing, the way I listen to how you guys are solving things, same thing with Florida. We need to realize that government solutions have never worked. I just came back from Latin America last week. They are realizing after the last couple of years, they want to get away from that stuff. So no, it is not the government that's going to give us the out of this. It's going to be entrepreneurs, innovators, those who truly are in the game for the right reasons. That is, make sure our kids are number one, and not the institutions, not the professors, not those around just kind of sucking in everything they can from government payouts. So I'm excited about the fact that we're having this conversation. We can all agree it's broken. It costs too much. We're getting too little of a return on investment with our kids coming out, not being prepared to go to work, not being hopeful for their future, being angry about everything.
Every single thing.
Our education should be about. And the other thing is this: let's just make sure we're transparent enough that everyone realizes they don't have to go into debt to go to four-year college. How about trades? If that could be their way out, if they could look at that as being their way to achieve their dreams, let them go for that.
I agree.
I think it's very helpful that we finally have competition for higher education. It's going to make higher education better. It's going to make sure that the best prove themselves, and outcomes will allow parents to say, okay, I will invest in this, or the kids will invest in this because it'll give me a good return on investment. And if it does not, then that institution should go broke, period. So I'm excited about the fact we're finally, over the last 6 months, putting in reforms. 6 months.
If you guys have been following for a while now, I have always said this here. If there is not a solid ROI in anything that we do, specifically if it's governmental or anything that you do as a human being, citizen in the United States of America, let's say, if it has no return on investment, then please stop doing it. A lot of my point circles around the ideas of entitlements in the United States of America, because there are people who stay on it for life. I'm not talking about like the kids or the seniors or the actually disabled. Okay. I'm not talking about these. Relax, have a seat, guys. Don't start typing angrily in my comments, right? I'm talking about the ones who have actually chosen to do nothing with their lives, okay? Actually do nothing. They have chosen to just say, you know what? I don't care anymore. I've tried, I can't succeed. So what I'm going to do is just live off of the government. I'm talking about those people, okay? Why are we funding people who have given up? Specifically, the idea of capitalism, yeah, absolutely. That is our system. That is something that has made America America, let's just say this year. And my biggest comparison probably always has been, look at government housing, okay? And then look at, I don't know, low income housing ran by some type of, I don't know, BlackRock or something, okay? Look at the differences, almost immediate. The differences are almost immediate. You have one where if something goes wrong, how long do you have to wait? You have to put in a form and hope that it happens within the next couple of months, guys, versus someone who's actually earning money on that property themselves, a small landlord, let's say this year, and they go run in and fix it immediately because the last thing they want to do actually is lose money. Because unfortunately, money is a really good tool to make people do what you want them to do. All right, let's just be completely honest here. And that system that we basically live within is making it so everything has to evolve and get better and better and better and more appealing, more attractive to another consumer base, guys. Right. So, yeah, that's the way to go. Right. I mean, we can try the government way, sure. But when will we actually see any type of evolution? Because it seems like every single gigantic government program has waste in it. You have someone that is inside of that bureaucratic bit of nonsense, right? That is absolutely pilfering or either skimming off the top of some type of contracted deal. Guys, there are too many issues here. This is why I love the idea of Doge, right? Let's jump to the college thing for a second here. All right. I loved college, but I will say though, not everyone needs to actually go to college, guys. I mean, you can absolutely do a trade and make similar money or more money than some people who went and got, masters or bachelors of anything, guys. You get what I'm saying here, guys? You could definitely make crazy money in the trades. And these are generally jobs that are needed. If you start looking at some of the degrees, for example, that a lot of people are going to get right now, they're really not beneficial to anything. Like, you understand that they do not work outside of the first world versus the trades, right? You're actually learning like hands-on skills and things that can actually rebuild something if you're needed, right? So you are absolutely needed. I'm sorry. Head of HR is pretty irrelevant at the end of the day, guys. All right. That's a pretty much meaningless position. Do you need a degree for that? I don't know, guys, but probably. I don't know what that is, but it's probably irrelevant. Okay. This is what I'm trying to point out here. Versus the trades, bro. Send your kids to trades. Like, as of right now, I'm not telling my son that he needs to go to college. And my wife is not interested in the idea of that either. And we're both educated here, guys. Bachelor's and a master's degree in my household. And we're not telling my son, please go ahead and do that. We're like, I'd rather you learn a trade. We can then work on the financing of you starting a business, let's say this year, and then you can sell your service to other people. I'd rather that be a thing. Because at least we know at the end of the day, that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial to, I don't know, bro. Think about the jobs that were needed when the 19 was going on. Think about those jobs. Send your kids to those jobs. Because that right there proved a massive point. If you didn't know, all right? Think about that. All right. Those jobs are the important jobs. Those are the real jobs, actually. The other stuff, that's just Western first world nonsense. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and catch you guys later.